Donald Trump has vowed to pull our troops out of Germany? 12,000 troops from Germany? In a move that will cost billions and take years. And there's bipartisan opposition? Why do we have troops in Germany? I guess the issue is that it's NATO. We provide defense to many of these countries. I love it. You know, the funniest thing they say is they say we should be able to have all of this healthcare and all these really great things. And often people will counter with the only reason we're able to have these things is because the only reason these countries are able to have these things is because we pay for their defense and they don't pay it back. So Donald Trump has basically said they are derelict of their duties. They're not paying what they owe, so we will no longer defend them. Why is America footing the bill for these countries that won't defend themselves or won't pay for it? They can defend themselves, right? I'll tell you what, maybe we'll be able to actually afford healthcare programs. I don't know about universal healthcare if we're no longer paying for the defense of these foreign countries. Doesn't that make sense? Well, of course, there's opposition from both parties. CNN says President Trump's decision to pull thousands of troops will take years to execute and will potentially cost billions of dollars to bring about, according to U.S. defense officials. The plan to pull U.S. troops from a long-time NATO ally has been met with broad bipartisan opposition amid concerns it will weaken the U.S. military's position vis-a-vis Russia. However, the Trump administration has decided to proceed with the move. Approximately 11,900 U.S. troops, a mix of Army and Air Force units, will be removed from Germany to meet Trump's mandated cap of 25,000 U.S. forces in Germany. You mean to tell me we have way more than that? We have 36,900 U.S. forces in Germany? That's amazing. We got like 8,000 in Afghanistan last time I checked. Maybe I'm wrong about that. That's truly amazing. According to a senior U.S. defense official, a number higher than the figure of 9,500 that was used when the reduction was first announced. The formal announcement was made Wednesday during a briefing at the Pentagon by Defense Secretary Mark Esper. The current EUCOM plan will reposition approximately 11,900 military personnel from Germany from roughly 36,000 down to 24,000 in a manner that will strengthen NATO, enhance the deterrence of Russia, and meet the other principles I set forth, he told reporters, referring to U.S. European Command, which oversees U.S. military forces on the continent. Officials said the discrepancy was due to the fact that following a review, it was found that there were slightly more U.S. troops permanently assigned to Germany, about 36,000 than originally planned for. Of the troops leaving Germany, some 5,400 will be staying in Europe, the official said. The remaining 6,400 forces and their families will be returned to the U.S. and will in time redeploy to Europe. Defense officials said this will cost billions of dollars as new military construction will likely be required both in Europe and the U.S. to house additional troops. Key U.S. command centers will also be repositioned as part of the move, Esper and top military leaders confirmed Wednesday. General Todd Walters, the commander of U.S. European Command and NATO's Supreme Allied Commander Europe, said the U.S. would be moving EUCOM headquarters from Germany to Belgium as part of an effort to co-locate the command with NATO military command headquarters that is based there, and that Africa Command headquarters may be moving to a location to be determined as well. We also intend to reposition 3 brigade-size headquarters, an air defense artillery battalion, and an engineering battalion to Belgium from Germany, and 2 smaller support and contracting organizations to Italy. Walters further specified that a F-16 fighter squadron would be moved from Germany to Italy, and that they anticipated moving 2 battalions from Germany to Italy as well. I gotta say, I do find it really silly that they're arguing we will weaken NATO's defensive position, they say, as they publicly announce everything they're doing, and everybody knows how many troops we have and what bases they have. It seems absolutely stupid and silly, in my opinion, that we maintain this world police position. I don't understand, maybe I'm crazy, why NATO doesn't take care of their own defense, or at least why they don't pay for it. That's Donald Trump's main complaint. They're not paying for it. So you know what? Take them out. Trump said he directed the move because he believes Germany doesn't spend enough on defense. However, Trump, who directed the move, said he did so because of Berlin's failure to meet the NATO target of spending 2% of GDP on defense, spending only about 1.38%. One of the only countries that hasn't agreed to pay what they're supposed to pay is Germany. So I said, until they pay, we're removing our soldiers, a number of our soldiers by about half. Then when we get down to about 25,000, we'll see where we're going, Trump said last month. Defense officials, however, said Wednesday the decision as to where to house the U.S. troops leaving Germany was not influenced by whether the new host country was meeting the 2% target. In fact, Belgium and Italy, the two countries that will be receiving U.S. troops from Germany, spend an even smaller percentage on defense than Berlin does. Italy spends about 1.22 of its GDP on defense, and Belgium spends about 0.93 of its GDP on defense, ranking near the bottom among NATO members. While Germany's national leadership has been largely silent on the troop cuts, local leaders representing the states where U.S. troops are housed recently wrote to members of the U.S. Congress asking them to help reverse the decision. Oh, I love it. I love it, man. Got to have our troops over on foreign soil. That makes sense. Yes. Because many of these people that are arguing in favor of having troops in all these other countries are internationalist. Look, I get it, man. I recently took the 8 values test. Lo and behold, Tim Pool is a liberal, and I do very much favor international diplomacy. But you're going to have to greatly struggle to justify, first and foremost, our presence in Afghanistan and Iraq. And then you're going to have to talk to me about why we have our troops in Europe. I get it. NATO. We got soldiers, we got military personnel all over the world. We basically function as a kind of world police. I've never cared for this, and most liberals never did either, yet that's where we are, and libertarians for that matter. Are we going to remain the world police? You know what? I'll tell you this. Fine, in a sense. If we are dealing with countries that want to rely on our military superiority, well, at the very least, they could pay for it, right? Why do we as the American taxpayer have to foot the bill for what's going on in foreign countries? And this is why I bring this up. There may be very good reasons for a military presence in Germany. Hey, they say Russia. I'm not super concerned about Russia. That sounds like Cold War 1980s talk or before. I'm more concerned with China. So maybe there's a good reason to have defenses in Europe. China. Okay, I'll tell you what. We get a lot of people in this country complaining about our infrastructure, complaining about how many taxes we pay. I'll tell you what. Sounds like we can solve that problem for both sides. What's that, Republicans? You don't like how much you spend in taxes? We could pull back some of those taxes if we weren't spending so much money on world policing other countries that won't pay the bill. What's that? Left, you say you want to fix the pipes in Flint. Well, I got a solution for you. Bring our troops back from all these foreign countries where they're not paying the bill, or we needlessly occupy these other countries or have bases there at the very least, and we can use the extra money to send our troops, I don't know, maybe to fix the pipe in Flint. This is the point I often make when it comes to military presence overseas. I think our troops are great. I think it is absolutely awesome that we have people willing to join the armed forces, go to these countries to serve our interests in certain respects, and, you know, to give a simplistic view, defend our freedom, to make sure that the things we believe in, free speech, are protected. But I'm not entirely convinced having our military operate as private security for Germany who won't pay actually does anything to protect our interests. I am absolutely of the opposite opinion when it comes to Afghanistan. I don't think our interests are being served there anymore. And it's amazing to me that there's a bipartisan effort to stop our troops from coming home. And the worst part is all them liberals that screamed and screamed for the longest time saying, bring our troops back, are nowhere to be found now that Trump is trying to do it. I got a message from a friend and they said, look at all these horrible things the United States does. They're imperialist. And I'm like, oh no, you're right. I guess we have to vote for Trump to make sure he brings the troops back. What are they going to say to that? Well, I don't know about Trump. Why? He's trying to bring the troops back. You think Joe Biden's going to do anything about it? No, Joe Biden's going to double down. That's his plan, man. Biden was part of the Obama administration. This is what they did. They bolstered our troops, drone strikes. They called him Obama. Obama was called Obama. He killed American citizens. I do not want that back. And you know what? Donald Trump is imperfect. In fact, he's worse than imperfect. Trump's kind of bad in a lot of ways. But you know what? Relative to the choices we have now, what am I supposed to say? When it comes to war, when it comes to our troops, when it comes to withdrawal, I will take it unless you justify to me a legitimate reason why we do this. The public deserves answers on this one. and we don't get it. Coming to me and screaming that, but Russia couldn't even take eastern Ukraine, so spare me, okay? No, that's complete and total BS. You just want to have our interests, and the military-industrial complex wants to siphon tax dollars and keep pumping out these machines. Then we put our, honorable brothers and sisters in the armed forces, we put them in harm's way, or we send them over to foreign countries for some reason that at the very least I can say they're not telling us. Now look, Afghanistan, I understand. Germany, there may be legitimate reasons for us to have bases there. Perhaps. I mean, the Cold War, World War II, sure, fine, whatever. But at this point, if we're going to have allies, they can at least pay what they're supposed to be paying. Why do the American people have to foot the bill for this? I want an answer. Because then when someone comes to me and says, why don't we have universal health care? I'll say, hey, well, at least some of the money is being spent in Germany. I know a lot of the money from the military is spent here, but paying people who are overseas, where they spend this money overseas, is just taking U.S. tax dollars and sending it overseas. You may have a good reason. Okay, I'm listening. I'd like to hear it. I'll leave it there, man. We'll see how this plays out, but I'll tell you this. As long as Donald Trump is talking about bringing our troops home, more so from the Middle East, the Germany thing, I'm kind of like, I'm definitely not going to support Joe Biden on that one. And if Joe Biden I don't trust Joe Biden to do the right thing anyway, so I defer to Trump on that regard. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m., and I will see you all then.